Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And in this video today, we are going to talk about how to overcome failure. If you want to sell more of your online courses, coaching packages, done for you services, or if you want to learn more about mindset and online business in general, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date every time a new video comes out. Before we get into the 4 points that I'm very excited about, I just want to start off with one thing, which is there is no such thing as failure. There's only collecting data. Write this down on your sticky notes. If you have sticky notes around your laptop, just like those, write it down and put it next to your screen. There is no such thing as failure. There's only collecting data. So let's talk about the first point. You have to understand that failing or screwing things up is part of the journey to success. You can imagine it like climbing a mountain. The top is the success point. The top is where you want to be. And then you start from the bottom, you start from the base camp, right? And you make your way up, slowly up the mountain. You climb the mountain, you stop in base camp number 1, which is, okay, maybe here's some lessons to learn. Maybe we need to learn about this kind of thing. Maybe we screwed up a launch. What can we learn? What can we make better? And then continue climbing up the mountain to base camp number 2. And next time you launch, for example, it's already going to be a lot better. You're going to be a lot fitter getting to the second stop of climbing that mountain. So the first time I really internalized this myself was when I actually read the book The Buddha and the Badass by Vishen Lakhiani, and he told the story about Google. So I just launched a new project. This is many years ago, and the first launch of this project flopped. And I thought, I felt really bad inside. You know, when you had a flop launch, all of these thoughts are going to your mind like, is my product good enough? Am I good enough? Why didn't people buy? What do they think about me now? In the truth is, nobody cares. Nobody even knew, nobody bought, kind of thing, right? The moment I actually really understood this is when Vishen Lakhiani talked in this book about the story of Google. Google, one of the biggest companies on the internet, well, the internet basically, right, has many different projects. They have Google Drive, they have Google Sheets, they have Google itself, they have Google Analytics, they have, the Play Store, they have all sorts of different products within their company. And they calculate in, before they even start any kind of project, they already know potentially this could fail. Think back to when there were the Google glasses. There was this moment where everyone was like, oh my God, Google glasses are going to be the future. We can wear glasses all the time and stream live from these glasses and so on and so forth, right? But the timing wasn't right and the project flopped. Like, do you now see anyone running around in Google glasses? No, of course not, right? Because the project flopped. But what did Google do? They calculate in a certain percentage of failed projects into their budgets anyway already, because they know something will fail along the way. And that's just normal and part of the journey. And once I read this entire story, and you can Google this, it's a big story. Once I read the entire story, it's like, even if Google failed, and Google is such a huge company, surely it will be okay if I fail with my mini tiny project as a solo entrepreneur back in the day, right? So this was the story which really clicked for me, which really made me go, it is okay. If a big company like Google already knows, hey, maybe this is going to fail and they do it anyway, should be fine, right? You can also look at it from a perspective like, if you book a plane ticket, right? You are going to go in holiday from Australia to Bali, and you go into one of these websites, online, Skyscanner, whatever, you book your flight, and that's it, right? You booked the holiday. Part of going to Bali from Australia is entering an aeroplane. You cannot get to Bali without entering an aeroplane or a boat. Let's say boat or aeroplane, right? So it's part of the journey. It's the same way as failure or collecting data is part of the journey to success. Okay, does that make sense, guys? So you won't get there to the top of the mountain, to your success, whatever success means to you, unless you fail along the way. So I encourage you to fail as quickly as possible, to make as many mistakes as possible, so that you can crawl really, really fast and get to the top of the mountain really, really quickly. Number 2, focus on what you've already achieved for yourself or for others. Let's say your launch flopped, right? This can have so many different reasons why this happened. Maybe the emails didn't go out in time. Maybe there was a public holiday and not as many people showed up to the live as you wanted them to. Maybe you changed a strategy within the strategy. Maybe you changed something within the strategy what didn't work out as well as you've wished it for. Maybe your messaging was off. Whatever it is, it happens. And the first thing to do is to accept it. And then Focus on what you've already accomplished for yourself and or for others. Ask yourself, what kind of results have you gotten for yourself in the past or for others, which changed their lives, which changed your own life, which changed your own perspective, things like that. I would recommend you to create like a little folder on your desktop which says reviews or testimonials, and then screenshot every time someone says something really positive about you or submits a review or tells you, hey, I got this transformation about this thing while taking your course or coaching program, or just simply listening to you. It's so amazing, changed my life, things like that. Like, have a little confidence folder on your desktop, which you can always revert back to when times are tough, because what this will do, it builds back up your confidence, and it actually reminds you of the bigger picture, right? When we have a flop launch or sales calls are not going the way we wanted them to go or whatever it is, right? We can really quickly get caught up into this and focus on the one thing that's not working, which is so dangerous to do. And here's the thing about that, what you focus on expands. Let me do a quick exercise with you. Just look around your room, okay, and look at all the things which you can see around you in your environment right now. Maybe you're sitting in a cafe, maybe you're in your room, in your office, maybe you are in your car. Just look around and observe your environment for the moment and pick out all the things that you can see that are green. For example, in my environment, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plants. It would be this book, this part of the book is green. It would be some of those lights which are green, right? Just really focus on what is green in your environment and really try to memorize that. Try to memorize what's green around in your area, around in your surroundings right now. Really try to memorize it. Look around, pick the green things, close your eyes, memorize it. Look around, pick the green things. Now let me ask you one thing. Look at me, don't look at the surroundings anymore, and tell me all the things in your environment which are blue. Right? So you can't remember any of those. You'll probably say, well, there's no blue because you've been focusing on all the green things. The only thing you've been focusing on the last few seconds is the green things, right? And that's very dangerous, because this way we tend to skip to see the bigger vision, to see the bigger picture, which we must remind ourselves on when things aren't going that great, when things flopped, okay? Here's the interesting thing, point number 3. Learn from your mistakes, evolve, upgrade your skill set, and make it better next time. So your failures, or as we know now, it's collecting data, only becomes actually really valuable if you review them, if you implement things and strategies, what makes it better next time. If your launch flopped this time, review your numbers. Where did it go wrong? Was tech an issue? Were your signups an issue? Were the ads an issue? Were your organic marketing strategies an issue? Was your messaging an issue? Whatever the issues were, make a list of it, really review it properly. Was the conversion rate the issue? Was the link broken? Did you not pay attention enough to do this thing, that thing, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Review it and make sure you keep a list of the things which went wrong and make it better next time. If you didn't convert anyone on the phone, you need to upgrade your sales skills, which means you need to practice sales. You need to hire somebody who can help you with sales, where you can make role plays, things like that, right? Whatever it is that didn't work out for you, you need to make sure to become better at it. You need to become a better business owner. You need to become a better entrepreneur. Only this way you will be better next time and screw up a little less and a little less and a little less. Any failure without learning is a completely wasted scenario, and you will have to repeat the painful experience over and over and over again until you become a better marketer, a better coach, a better copywriter, a better yoga instructor, whatever it is that you are. Learning and developing new skills is the name of the game in entrepreneurship. If you don't involve, your business doesn't involve, and you will always stay stuck at one point. Number 4, I'm very passionate about this particular point because I know this holds back so many of you. Don't take on other people's opinions and be able to think for yourself. Quick story here. Once I started to travel around the world about 15 years ago, I realized the things my parents, my friends, the teachers at school told me were just actually not true. They just told me and taught me the things they thought to be true based on their own experiences and perspectives. And those truths, their truths, were not my truths. Those truths are not your truths either. In fact, there is actually no truth in this world if you look at it really deeply. There are only perspectives and opinions by others, and whoever can articulate them the best will have the most influence. If you've tried to build a business and it flopped or it failed, Don't listen to the naysayers, who are mostly, unfortunately, going to be very close to you. Many people who are the closest to us, like siblings, friends, family members, are going to try and talk you out of it. And probably they're going to say things like, I told you so. What are you doing? This is not safe. Blah, blah, blah. Never listen to these people if they haven't walked the way where you want to get and they haven't achieved the results what you're trying to obtain. Because in their perspective, the road they have chosen, the safe 9-to-5 road, is the safe road, right? And that's all they know. And therefore, it's easy for them to talk down on you and say like, hey, I told you so. Don't do this thing. It's really not safe. Why don't you have your stable income coming in every single month? And how is that even safe? Like, they are so brainwashed. So many people out there are so brainwashed. A 9-to-5 job, having a 9-to-5 job, how is that even safe these days? It's actually a lot safer to running a business, to start building your own business and being your own boss and deciding yourself what are you going to do with your own time and how much money you're going to make. Because it is up to you how much money you are going to make. The more skills you develop, the more money you will make. And the more you learn, the more you earn. You do need to surround yourself with people who have already achieved where you want to go or are on the same way. It's inevitable for your success. You will not get there if you're not surrounded by like-minded people who face the same problems, who face the same challenges, who celebrate the same wins, things like that. And you can't share these things with people who don't understand the entrepreneurial world. It's just a very different game out there, and they will always try to drag you down, even not consciously, subconsciously, right? They even mean it in a good way, but you can't get there without support of other like-minded people. You have to have a tribe around you that supports you, that you can support as well when they are struggling, so that you can see, okay, this is normal. The struggle is normal. The failure is normal. It's no wonder, because we all have been conditioned through the education system to think failure is bad. Every time you do a mistake in your exams, you get punished for it. And this way, it's so ingrained within yourself that you think making mistakes is a bad thing. And that's not the real world. The real world looks very different. In fact, exactly the opposite. I understand that it may take time and implement the whole thing. And it took me years and years and years to gradually evolve as a person, as an entrepreneur, to develop more skills and to I constantly change kind of like my surroundings. And I have a lot of different types of people I know in many different circles, right? But I see my own progress skyrocketing if I hang out with a certain group of people and really dropping down if I hang out with another certain group of people. And there's nothing wrong with these people. That's not what I'm saying. It's just a different vibe. It's just a different mindset. And you become like the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. Real quick, I want to tell you a story about this guy from one of my neighboring villages in Germany who used to run, or still runs, an event management business. Back in the day, this is more than a decade, almost 2 decades ago, I used to waitress on the weekends everywhere. I used to work for this catering company, and they would send you to different places, weddings, birthdays, things like that, where you can work. And he ran an event management company, so he would run events around the areas. So he's basically an entertainment company. And I remember so well when he got started first. Of course, not all the events kicked off. Not all the events were filled with people, but some were, right? So some events flopped and some events were really successful. And I remember the people from my village talking, and I have to say this, I grew up in a village with about 500 people. And in the areas where we live, there's like one village next to each other, same sizes, right? So everyone really knows each other, and people gossip a lot. People gossip and envy a lot, right? And people started talking about him and, oh, have you heard about this guy? He again ran this project against the wall. What is he doing? Blah, blah, blah. And who were these people who were talking like this about him? These were people looking back now, almost 2 decades later. I look back at both scenarios. I look back at him and I look back at those people. I know exactly the kind of people. I know exactly the people who told me this, who talked bad, who badmouthed this guy. They are still stuck in a 9-to-5. There's nothing wrong with being in a 9-to-5, but if you're not happy, there's a lot wrong with this. So they are still stuck in a 9-to-5 job, which they've had all their lives since they graduated from secondary school, and being very miserable and upset. These are the same people who gossiped about the guy with the event management company who is super successful today and lives his lives on his own terms. Very successful company, financially independent, has it all. And he's now a very well-respected man in the villages. Like he deserves this respect and the attention. Versus the other people, you can't teach a fish to climb a tree. Therefore, I have given up at some point to try and explain to people who are not in this entrepreneurial world, in this digital marketing world, or in this even location independent lifestyle world, I've just given up trying to explain what it is, because in the end, people make up their own stories according to what they like to think it is that you do. In order to avoid conflict, and also in order to avoid listening to unsolicited advice, which I've never asked for, that has really helped me to stay focused on my projects and to become really successful. Another reason why people said this in the village as well is if they say things like, oh, I told you so, or I knew it's not gonna work, or that sounded scary from the start, things like that. They say these things sometimes not to pull you down. Not everyone is trying to pull you down, right? But sometimes when people say these kind of things, they just don't believe they could do it themselves. They just don't see the possibilities. Remember the exercise we just did a few minutes ago when you had to pick out the blue things? They just don't see the blue things because they have not the awareness that these kind of things are possible. So with everything you learn new, there will be mistakes. And if you make mistakes and jump off the bridge immediately, well, that is not a really good problem-solving strategy, is it? But now you're a business owner, which means you are a problem solver. Business owners are problem solvers. Your products solve a problem of other people. So why should you not be able to solve your own problems, right? So I really encourage you to start unlearning all these things, what you have been programmed to believe from a young age, in kindergarten, in primary school, in secondary school, such as, hey, it's bad to make mistakes and you're going to be punished for it. But the good news is you can unlearn all of these things and build a better and stronger mindset so that you can continue your business journey. And I encourage you to do so. Ignore the naysayers, constantly upgrade your skills and keep building that confidence. If you want me to create more mindset videos like this, comment yes, please, in the comment below so I know that's what you want to see. Click the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can stay tuned when those videos come out. And this is the video YouTube thinks you should watch next.